I'm Howie Scarborough. I'm the CEO of Fall Protection Distributors, and we've recently written a blog about Fielder standing seam panels and the most compatible fall protection equipment that's safe to use on their roof systems. So if you scroll down through here, you'll see we cover all their different systems. I want to show you a couple of their panels called the Clip series. There's a high clip and a king clip. But as you can see, the shape of the seam is not going to be compatible with seam mounted equipment. Anything you tried to attach to that seam would just crush that seam. So there is an alternative product that we'll talk about. There's the king clip. So down at the bottom of this article, you'll see a quick reference chart. So as you can see, the Clip series, they are not compatible with the seam mounted equipment, but we are going to talk about the Ridge Pro at the end. So as long as you're talking about 22 and 24 gauge steel and non-curved, we can attach to the seam with fall protection equipment. So the SSRA1 is a single worker seam mounted tie-off anchor. It has a removable D-ring, makes it very unique in the industry because you can add adapter plates to it. So the SSRA1, if you're working on 22 gauge steel, you use the cup tip set screws torqued at 90 inch-pounds. And if you're working on 24 gauge steel, you would switch over to the nylon tip set screws. It's the same anchor, you just change out the set screws. You would switch over to the nylon tip set screws for 24 gauge steel, and you would torque that from 180 to 200 inch-pounds. So keep in mind, when we're talking about torquing, we're talking inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. There's a lot of seam-mounted anchors out there that are two plates that are being squeezed together with bolts. If you read the instructions on those, number one, a lot of those have to be located over clips. You have to know where the clips are on standing seam. I don't know how you find out where the clips are, but that's what their instructions say. That's impossible to do. And also they're torquing to over 100 foot-pounds. They're crushing the seam in between. So we don't do that. That's not what the SSRA1 does. That's why we use set screws to avoid all of that. So let's talk about the adapter plate. So if you want to run a 10-foot walkboard for a worker on a steep roof, you would mount two SSRA1s. You'd locate those about 8 feet apart, put them on, lock them onto seams, remove the D-rings, take a pair of SSRA2 roof jacks. You would mount those on top with two top bolts, and those are seam height adjustable as well as roof pitch adjustable, and they are padded on the bottom so they won't scratch up the seams. But that gives you a nice stable walking surface on a steep roof. If you want to run a 100-foot temporary horizontal lifeline, you would take two SSRA1s, you'd mount them on seams next to each other, remove the D-rings, take an SSRA3 Anchor Plate, you would mount it on top, and it's adjustable from 12 to 24 inch wide seams. And that's going to be one endpoint of your horizontal lifeline. So you would need that assembly at each end of your line. And we do offer a kit, an SSRA HLL Kit. So that has everything you need. So that has 4 SSRA1 anchors. That has 2 SSRA3 anchor plates, and it also includes the 100-foot horizontal lifeline. So it's a 4-man horizontal lifeline, but when we're attaching to standing seam, we limit that to 2 workers just as another safety factor. We also recommend, if you have a crew larger than 2 workers, we recommend that you have a couple of extra SSRA1 anchors on hand that you mount above the work area. So a worker can travel on the line to the work area, clip off the rope onto a fixed anchor point, descend the roof, do the work he needs to do. And that way, that allows other workers to be able to travel on that horizontal lifeline. If you need a permanent lifeline, we offer an industry-exclusive super anchor 120-foot galvanized steel permanent lifeline system. So that kit includes non-penetrating clamps, aluminum base plates, 5-inch riser posts, and 120 feet of galvanized steel cable for permanent installations. So for the Clip series and any of these panels that are compatible, plus the ones that are not, you can consider using the Ridge Pro. As long as the roof pitch is 612 to 1212, the Ridge Pro is going to work fine. So the Ridge Pro, and it doesn't have to be a metal roof. It can be shingle. It can be a lot of different roof types. But the Ridge Pro is very versatile. Imagine a ladder hook without the ladder. It's just it's a ladder hook that mounts on the end of a lightweight 16-foot extension pole. You climb a ladder. You use the pole to run it up the roof. You flip it over the peak, and you've now locked a vertical lifeline to the peak of the roof. So as soon as you step from the ladder to the roof, you're 100% tied off the entire time. Do an inspection, do a quick repair, install other more permanent anchor points for other workers. That's what we would call a first man up system. So that's what the Ridge Pro is known for. It's very popular with Christmas light installers, insurance adjusters, roof inspectors, fire inspections, pest control, things like that. So if you have any questions about any of these products or any of these panels, our phone number is at the top of the website. You can email us at support@fallpd.com. And this little blue circle in the bottom right corner of the website, that's our live chat. Just let us know how we can help you.